to English for Latinos. This is Ashanti Ortega, and on this episode we are going to talk about the sounds of the letter O, the sounds of the letter U, the TH sounds, the contrastive stress, and the compound noun stress. So let's go. As you may have noticed, the words in English are not always pronounced as they are written. And that's why in the 19th century, the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA chart, was created to understand a little bit better and to represent the sound on English words. The letter O in English has 5 common sounds. The first one is this one. And the sound is created by opening your lips as the letter A in Spanish, or A. But you emit a sound that is similar to the letter O in Spanish, or O. And you can find this sound in words like clock or stop. Now, the next sound that is very common for the letter O in English is this one. And, well, this is created by rounding your lips and emitting a sound like something like this, O. And some words with this sound are potato and hotel. Now, the third sound that we can find for the letter O in English is this one. This one is a little bit similar to the first one, but when you mention it, you will relax your jaw a little bit. And some words with this sound are honey and oven. Now, the next sound is this one. This sound is formed also by rounding your lips, but a little bit more closely. And this is a long sound. You can find this sound in words like to and movement. And last but not least, we have this sound, which is called schwa. And this sound is also commonly known as the lazy sound. This is a very short sound and very relaxed. You can find it on words like bacon and lemon. And well, as you can see, it is almost unnoticeable when you pronounce this sound in the words with the letter O. Also, the letter O sounds can be changed whenever they are joined by another vowel. Those are called diphthongs, and those can be explained on another video, but as a heads up, diphthongs can be either only a written representation on a word, or they can be a sound also. For example, shoe. This one is only a written diphthong because we have the O and the letter E. But they are doing just one sound. And also we have the diphthong sounds like goat. On this case, it is written diphthong, because you have the letter O and the letter A. And mixed, they create this diphthong. Now, moving forward, we have the letter U. This letter, as the letter O, has 5 common sounds in the English language. And actually, the representation would be the same. So, the first sound for the letter U is this one. And yes, as I mentioned, it is the same symbol. But well, you will emit a letter U sound, and well, Basically, as I mentioned, you will form your lips as a letter A in Spanish or A, but you will omit the sound U. So, for example, you can find this sound on words like bus and under. Now, the next sound for the letter U is this one. And, well, as I mentioned before, this sound is a little bit longer than the other sounds. And you can find this sound in words like absolute and un. The third sound for the letter U is the schwa. Remember, the lazy one. And generally speaking, when we find this sound in words with the letter U, the schwa sound comes before an S. For example, circus or virus. Then we have this sound, which is the fourth sound for the letter U. This sound is a short sound, and this one is a little bit similar to the letter U in Spanish, or U. And some examples with this sound would be the words pull and push. And our last sound with the letter U would be this one. This is a long sound, and it appears on words like computer and use. Now let's talk about the TH sounds. When these two letters, the letter T and the letter H, are together in English, they create two different sounds, which are a little bit challenging for us Spanish speakers. Both sounds are created by the tongue being between the teeth, so like this. However, what makes them different is the vibration on the throat. So let me be a little bit more clear. The first sound is the sound V. When we make this sound, it does not vibrate on our throat. So it's called a voiceless sound. And we can find this sound on words like think or month. The second sound is the sound V. This sound vibrates on our throat when we pronounce it. So this is a voiced sound. And you can find it on words like the or this. Moving forward, let's talk about the contrastive stress. To begin with, in English, we stress the pronunciation of some words when we are speaking. Normally, these words are the most important part of the speech, and usually they are verbs. But there are some cases when we want to emphasize another part of the speech, like a noun or an adjective. That is when we use contrastive stress. For example, I want to work there. I want to work there. So in the first example, we are stressing the verb, which is what we normally do. And in the second example, we want to emphasize that I am the one that wants to work in that place and no other person. The contrastive stress can also change the meaning of a sentence because it can give either a positive or a negative connotation to our message. Now we are going to talk about the stress on compound nouns. To begin with, what is a compound noun? Well, basically a compound noun is a noun that is created by two different words, like a noun plus another noun, a noun plus an adjective, a noun plus a verb, an adverb plus a noun, just to mention a few examples. And they can be written as a single word, as two hyphened words, or as two separated words. And well, the stress on the compound noun is pretty important because it helps us to distinguish between them and two separated words that are not used as compound nouns. As a rule of thumb, the stress on the compound nouns is reflected on the first part of it. For example, greenhouse and greenhouse. Alright, now I'm going to give you a paragraph that involves all the topics that we have seen today. Are you ready? Let's go. Outdoor observers often undergo thorough training to understand thoughtful themes and underground outlets. They outperform others in uncovering useful outcomes. Were you able to spot all the sounds, the stress on the compound nouns, and contrastive stress that we have seen today? Please let me know in the comments below. And that's it for today. I hope that you have found this video useful, and I appreciate that you have joined in today. I'm Ashanti Ortega, and see you next time.